Hi everybody, this is Pam with Jesus Junk Journals, and I've just been kind of piddling around with stuff. You know, when you have scrap paper, you cut out a digital kit and there's white paper left. I always want to use it up, and so I cut some circles out, and then I just took a marker and, let's see, Kuretake. That's what I used on these, and just I liked some that I had printed out that said ask, seek, and knock, to use them as tabs on my Bible. So I decided, before I forgot about it, to just quickly punch out some little 1-inch circles and then write on them ask, seek, and knock. So I think I have 5 of each one. So it's just another one of those humanizing things when it's something you wrote yourself, and it's not perfect, but people will just know that it was done by hand. And I'll bring this example that I've shown you before, where you can write it on the side of a page, like "Have a wonderful day," and go back with some watercolor or colored pencils and just color it in. It's just a nice touch on a page. Something else you can do. It's on my list, you know, that I've been talking about, the hand lettering. It doesn't have to be anything, it just be one word. And oh, let's see, where did I put? I was going to show. Oh, here. I was going to show you my my strawberry box that I keep, and here's some things that I've cut up, and I've stamped them too. If you really don't like your handwriting, you just don't think it's good enough, you can use your little stamp letters and print out things. I got a new life, and then there's Grace that I wrote myself and inked it. And so they're very imperfect, but I just think they kind of are charming when they just have that handwritten way about them, or even the stamping looks pretty cool. And I don't like the stamping to be perfect either. That's just me. You may really like it to be perfect, and that's fine. But anyway, so there's that. And I guess I should probably put these in here. So just wanted to remind you again about that, and plus it's a good way to use up these big pieces of scrap paper that you have after you cut a kit out. I'm messing around with my hymnal pages, making pockets, and I came up with a pocket. I'm probably not the first one to do this, but it's a little big, so I cut it down. I'm getting ready to show you how to make it, but this is on a digital kit like mine. The pages come out 5.5 by 8, and so if you glue this pocket on, it would hang out just a little bit. Now that doesn't bother me because I have other, like this cloth and other things that stick out. But if you want it to fit on the page, which I assume you would want that, I've reduced the size of the triangles, and I'll show you how it works. But here's how it works. You glue this on, and you'll put the glue down the middle and across the bottom of each triangle. And then when you glue it to your page, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets to put ephemera in. So I've come back and re-engineered my pockets. And the strip of paper that you need would be about 3.5. And that folded, so if you you take a hymnal page and you cut a piece 3.5. So let me just do that really quick. 3. And then what I do, because I'm just not that precise, this has even got gesso on it, I'll fold it this way. I just fold it corner to corner, make a triangle, and then cut it off. And it's not going to be completely straight, but pretty close. And then I've got, let's see, Yeah, I got enough to make one more out of this piece. So I'm going to cut it off. And just keep doing that. You need 3 of them. And so I'm going to go over to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch around this, all 3 of these, which you don't have to do that either. That's just what I'm going to do. And then if you want to make this same thing for one of the junior journals, the paper needs to be about 2 3/4 inches. And where did I put that? Right here. So this is 2 3/4 inches wide, and that should make it small enough and yet still big enough that you can tuck some small things into it. So and you can also be super careful and make sure you get the words on there you want if you want to do just the titles and get those to show up. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's plenty. That's enough. Okay, so here are the triangles. They're all stitched and tied the knots. That seems like it takes as long as sewing it sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and do some decoupaging on these. And I've got all different napkins pieces. So I'm just going to go through and pick out some that I like. I know most of you probably know how to decoupage, but just in case you're new and you just happen to be seeing my videos, I won't go into a lot of detail, but I'll give you the basics. You will want to use Mod Podge, or you can use matte medium. I use Elmer's glue, and I use it 2 parts glue to 1 part water, mix my own, and it seems to work pretty well for me. So got a brush that I usually wash out, but it still gets kind of stiff, but if you put it in water, it'll wake back up. And you want to use an old brush that you don't care anything about, of course. So you take a napkin, and actually, just in case this is your first time watching, let me see if I have one. I'll use this one. I'll show you this, just in case you haven't done this before. You can use a piece of Scotch tape or a piece of washi tape. I have a roll of washi tape that I don't like, so I use it for this. But you take a piece of tape and stick it on the back of the napkin, because it has 2 layers. Some of them only have 1 layer, but at least 1 layer of white tissue paper that you need to get off of there. Pull that off. I put it in a sack and save it, even though I have used very little of it actually, but I hate throwing it away. And I still refer back to when we needed toilet paper back. I didn't, but you know, there were a lot of people that had a toilet paper shortage during this COVID thing. And this sack of tissue paper, you could always use it for that, in case there's another shortage. So that leaves you with the 1 layer with the ink, with the design on it. And then I'm going to take another brush. Actually, I want a small brush. This will work. Okay. And I'm going to just dip it in some water. Find a design that I want and go around it with a bit of water. And then that helps you tear it out super easy. and gives you a really nice edge. If you use scissors, it's a cut edge, it doesn't look nice. So there's a butterfly I can put on. I'll leave these over here in case I need other pieces. I'll get this bird. I got a whole bunch of napkins at Tuesday morning, and I haven't been over there in quite a while. I wonder if they have some new ones. Not that I need any more, but I might be missing out on something. Okay, so you get your little pieces of napkin, and so like I said, this was what hooked me on, I think I said this, what hooked me on junk journaling. It got me started was this whole, add a little bit of water to my Mod Podge. It's been a while since I used it. Junk journaling was this whole, the decoupaging napkins, because I was doing Bible journaling and painting illustrations into them, and it took a long time, and you had to be really careful and so on and so forth. And when I saw how napkins looked, it looked like paintings, but they were perfect. So it was easier to just decoupage napkins into the Bible for illustrations. And that's kind of what started me. They're beautiful, I think, when you do it. Okay, so these are the small pockets. So you brush some Mod Podge on, stick your napkin on, and you radiate out from the center so you don't tear it. And you use gentle strokes so you don't tear it. And you just go over it, and it just melts into the background, and you can see the music come through. That's why I like to use these hymns, because it is a really nice background for the decoupage. Of course, some of these are going to get cut off. That's fine. Let's see. Oh, here's a small one. I'm getting this all over my plastic background, but that's all right. Okay, and that's it. So we'll let those dry, and then I will trim them, and I'm going to ink them with my Vintage Photo Distress ink on the edges. And then we will be ready to stitch them up and go on. So now we're back. These have dried. So I'm just going to cut the excess off. Okay, so now I'm gonna get my distress ink and distress ink these. Okay, so we've got those distress inked, and let me sort these out. Big ones and small ones. And so you're gonna have 3 and 3. All I need to do is stitch these on the sewing machine. Okay, so here's what they look like stitched. And then all you need to do is, of course, tie your strings off, but you'll put the glue here across the bottom of each triangle, and I'll do that and show you how that works out. Okay, so here we are. I made a page for my next journal that I'm going to work on just out of a piece of scrapbook paper, and I inked the edges just to show you. So I'm using Barely Art glue. I ran out of glitter glue, and somebody recommended this, so I'm going to try this. And I've used it for a little bit, and I like it. You can reposition a little bit better than you can with glitter glue, and it's also less expensive. So anyway, I'm going to put the glue across the bottom of the triangle and all 3 of the triangles. And then down the middle. And put it towards the bottom of the page. It doesn't stick quite as quickly as glitter glue, but it's pretty good. I say that and then it pops up. Stick. Okay, and so then once it's dry, let's see, what do I have? This is a place you could poke some of the small cards. It goes like that. So anyway, so that's how that works. And then there's, see, I don't have a lot cut out yet. I'll put these in just to demonstrate the 6 pockets. So that's what the mini one looks like. And the big one is the same. Works the same way in the big journal. 6 pockets. So that's that. And then the other thing I was going to show you is I have not ever done a snippet roll because I don't know why. I just didn't care for them, and I thought they looked kind of fat, like they might be too thick in a journal. But I started accumulating some ribbon pieces and fabric that I didn't want to throw away, so I decided to give it a try. So this is what my snippet roll looks like. And so I cut a strip of fabric and I just started sewing these little pieces on in a line, and I went all the way down, and then I did a line on one side, a line on the other side, and then I did one in the middle. So you can see I just laid them down and just stitched over them just as I was sitting at the sewing machine. And then when I got to the end, I just flipped it around and just started putting the things on the other side and stitching those down. And then I went back to the center and I've just pulled back the 2 sides, and that left a kind of a bald spot in the middle. And I just started laying things down in the middle and stitching them down the middle. So you can see that line. And so you flip them up and it fills up pretty nice. And honestly, it's not that thick, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I thought it would look really cute on the edge of a page. What I was thinking is I might do some more of this and not make it as wide. And so if it was just maybe half that thickness, and use it as the edge of a page in a journal. This would be okay in a regular sized journal. Let me grab one. But I mean, like, see, this lace is pretty wide. So, you know, you could take this and stitch it along a page. And I think that'd be really awesome. And the other thing I think it'd be neat for is on the edge of a cover as a edge for that, or even like one across the top and a piece across the bottom. But anyway, I will say, I thought I had all these pieces, and I'm like, oh, I might have to cut an extra strip. I've got so many pieces. And then as I stitched them on, I realized I didn't have near enough pieces. And so what I ended up doing was cutting more pieces. So I had to manufacture my snippet pieces, my scraps. They were not really scraps. So I had to kind of chop into some stuff, which didn't take a whole lot. But anyway, I created it. So there's my version of a snippet roll, and I know they're out there with paper and buttons and all sorts of things, so nothing new about this. I just thought I would show you what I had. So that's it for today, and I'm cutting out my Salvation Journal, getting ready for that, so that will be coming in another day or 2. All right, thanks for watching. Click the subscribe button and the like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.